Welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Walt Grayson.
And I'm Melanie Christopher. Thank you for joining us. Here's some of the stories we're following today, Wednesday, December the 1st.
As the state of Mississippi makes national news over its abortion case, activists on both the pro and anti-abortion side are making their voices heard on this hot-button issue.
Plus, the Omicron variant has officially been identified in the United States. We'll let you know why leaders say there's no reason to panic.
And we're going to show you how a Canton man is spreading Christmas cheer by donating toys to children at a local school. All those stories and more are coming up, but first let's send things over to meteorologist John Conway with a look at your first forecast. Another beautiful day, John.
Yep, what a way to start the month of December. Right now, this is a live look out over the city of Jackson. We have beautiful blue skies across the region, and if you're going to be planning some outdoor activities this evening, the weather could not be nicer for this time of year. Beautiful clear skies, mild temperatures starting in the mid-60s, only falling into the mid-50s by 10 p.m., so just a light jacket needed. And down in the Hattiesburg area in the Pine Belt, same story. Clear skies, mild, maybe just a couple degrees cooler by late evening, getting down into the low 50s. In your 8-day forecast, this is what we're looking at over the next couple of days. Warm and dry weather through the end of the work week. The weekend looking pretty decent for most folks, but next week we're going to get into a more active pattern that could see some showers, maybe some storms, and we're starting to see a couple signals for some severe weather. I've got those details in the full forecast in about 13 minutes. First, though, we're going to get into your 12 News time saver traffic. No major incidents to report across central Mississippi as we zoom into the Jackson Metro. Most of our highways and byways are in the green. That means traffic is flowing smoothly. Checking in our usual trouble spots, the stack. Traffic on Interstate 20 westbound looking pretty good, moving at 63 miles per hour. That's just about the speed limit. And not looking too bad on Route 49 south of Richland as well. Just a little bit of volume as you get through that bridge work just south of the Richland area. So your drive times from the city to the suburbs, we are in the green. Interstate 20 and 55, about 9 to 11 minutes to Clinton, Brandon, Madison, and Terry. West Side Bypass 220 looking good in both directions, and we're just starting to build up that little bit of volume as everyone heads home from work on Interstate 55 to Northwest Rankin. I've got your full forecast, including details on that active weather, coming up in just about 13 minutes. Back to you.
Our top story today, the Supreme Court heard arguments this morning about a Mississippi law which would ban nearly all abortions after 15 weeks.
This could be the case that overturns Roe v. Wade. But exactly what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at the laws that Roe v. Wade established in 1973. The court's decision guarantees abortion rights for women during the first trimester, which is the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. And it also allows abortions to protect women's health during the second trimester. And it also guarantees privacy rights for all women undergoing abortions.
Now, if the state of Mississippi wins the case, nearly all abortions in Mississippi will be banned after 15 weeks. And by overturning Roe, it would put the power to regulate abortions back in the hands of each individual state. Now, 21 states have already passed laws banning abortions if Roe is overturned, and that list includes much of the southeastern U.S.
At today's hearing, all 6 conservative justices signaled that they'll break with precedent and toss Roe v. Wade and uphold the Mississippi law. Mississippi's Attorney General Lynn Fitch says making abortion illegal will help women across the country, and Senator Roger Wicker says he believes the case will make history.
It's time for our laws to move with society and make it much easier for our mothers to be successful. You know, this is a wonderful opportunity to return this to the people.
Millions of Americans are praying today for our country. They're praying today for the Supreme Court. They'll be given wisdom, that they'll be given courage, and that they make a decision for life. The Dobbs case, which will, I think, make history.
A decision is expected in June 20 to 22nd, somewhere in that range.
We have team coverage from Jackson to Washington regarding the U.S. Supreme Court abortion case today. Let's start here in Jackson, where activists on both sides of the issue gathered today, hoping to make their voices heard. 12 News' Anna Farish went to those rallies to speak with people on both sides. She joins us now. Anna?
Well, Melanie, I started the day at the Jackson Women's Health Clinic where anti-abortionists were standing outside praying over the clinic and trying to talk to patients as they walked in and out. And now the clinic volunteers stood outside because they know that today's Supreme Court hearing was going to heighten emotions. Now, just a few miles away at Smith Park, abortion freedom fighters held a rally inviting several abortion rights groups like Planned Parenthood and Yellow Hammer Fund to speak out on why they believe Roe v. Wade is so important.
I think everybody should have the opportunity to get the health care that they believe is right for them. Abortion is health care. We already know we have a problem with health care in the state, any access to health care, especially health care for abortion access. This is an important clinic. This is important for people to be able to make this choice for themselves. I believe in bodily autonomy. I believe in the right to decide when and how we have children. I believe in the rights of women to determine what their futures look like and what happens with their body. And being on this side of the fence allows me to do that.
We're definitely moving in the right direction. Ultimately, you know, we need heart change, and so we need to know how to love people and meet them where they're at with grace. You know, it's one thing to stand and advocate, you know, but a lot of times that can be received as judging and condemning. And so we really need to offer resources and hope and other ways. And, you know, we really need to be approachable, you know, and really have the heart of the Father and not our own agendas.
In talking with Jackson's Women's Health Clinic volunteers, they say they're scared of the possible outcome just because of how the court justices are stacked in the Supreme Court. Anti-abortion activists, though, are pretty confident that the Supreme Court is going to side in the state's favor. Live at Jackson, Anna Farish, 12 News.
As the Supreme Court listened to arguments today, it became clear that the state of Mississippi is using an unusual process to fight abortion rights. 12 News' Jalen Neville talked to legal experts to see if the state's argument will hold up. Jalen, what'd you find out?
Yeah, that's right, Walt. The Supreme Court typically follows rulings from the past in their decisions, but for this case, the state of Mississippi is looking to overturn a nearly 50-year-old precinct. Today, the Supreme Court listened to oral arguments that could overturn Roe v. Wade. Both sides argued for 2 hours reviewing Mississippi's House Bill 1510. One legal analysis said today was one of the first steps of a lengthy process.
The issue here is going to be, is the court going to part with the legal concept known as stare decisis, meaning that we look to precedent and we give precedent a lot of weight? If they do, then they're going to uphold Roe and Casey, the two cases from 50 years ago and from 1992. If they feel strongly enough about this Mississippi law and the legal issues behind it, they could choose to give us a new law of the land with abortion and overturn Roe.
With the research and opinion writing set to take place next, is predicted to take months before a decision from the court to be determined. Be sure to tune in for 12 News at 6 as we break down more from the local analysts. Walt, back to you.
Hey, thank you, Jalen. Coming up in about a half hour, we'll take you inside the courtroom to hear from the Supreme Court justices themselves during the hearing this morning. But right now, let's take a look at today's 12 News Connect question. Do you think the Supreme Court will uphold Mississippi's abortion ban? Let us know. You can do that by voting at WJTV.com or use your 12 News app. And we'll take a look at the results a little bit later on in the hour.
In other news from Jackson, a man is dead after an early morning shooting on the corner of Capitol and Prentice Streets. People in the area say they heard 4 gunshots and they're sick of hearing gunshots, particularly while they're trying to sleep. Now they want city leaders to step in and stop the violence.
You murder somebody, this family's out here hurting. You shouldn't get no bond. What you getting a bond for to get back out here and do the same thing again? Clean the streets up.
It is a disaster in the city right here. And we're right up the street from Jackson State. City, will you all please come out and help us on Prentice Street?
We still do not know the name of the victim.
New today, a U.S. official has confirmed the country's first case of the Omicron variant. A person in California tested positive for the variant. The person traveled to South Africa last week and tested positive 2 days ago. They were fully vaccinated, they have mild symptoms, and they're now self-quarantining. Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's too early to draw any conclusions about the Omicron variant, but the president wants people to know there's no reason to panic.
You really can't take anything away from a single patient. We feel good that this patient not only had mild symptoms, but actually the symptoms appear to be improving.
This new variant is a cause for concern, but not a cause for panic. We have the best vaccines in the world, the best medicines, the best scientists. We're learning more every single day.
Hang on, coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to have Dr. Timothy Quinn discuss with us what we ought to know right now about this Omicron variant, so hang on.
A Canton man bought more than 100 toys for kids at an early childhood development center. He wanted to make sure they had a gift for Christmas. 12 News' Leah Williams has more on the giveaway that was a year in the making.
Last year, Carlos Hall wanted to donate Christmas gifts to all of the children at the Friends of Mississippi Head Start centers in Canton. But due to the pandemic, both schools were learning virtually. This year, he was finally able to make that happen.
The children will see that you don't have to know someone to do an act of kindness and show love to them. It wasn't me choosing the school. The Holy Spirit chose the school. And I'm just acting on the behalf of the Holy Spirit today.
Hall paid for all of the toys out of his own pocket. He says it took multiple trips to stores around the metro to buy gifts for the more than 150 students that range 6 months to 4 years old.
I made about approximately 20 trips in and around Jackson, Rankin County, and Madison County. I have remote control cars, doll heads, rabbits that make different noises for the younger children, push cars and trucks.
Staff members say they are grateful for this donation, especially since the pandemic has put a financial strain on some of the parents.
On behalf of Friends of Children in Mississippi, we're very appreciative that he chose us.
I think it was wonderful because it's such a need. Parents have been struggling the last couple of years, and this is going to be a big help.
Teachers say the kids are anxiously waiting to see what they'll get as the gifts will be handed out on the last day before Christmas break.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly what they're going to say. Oh, wow.
They're going to be excited. Yeah, very excited.
Hall has done several other giveaways, including one to a Head Start center in his hometown of Yazoo City. He says he hopes to inspire others to spread love throughout the Magnolia State. In Canton, Leah Williams, 12 News.
And it's more blessed to give than to receive. So somebody needs to tell Santa Claus about him so he can be blessed. Hey, ahead on 12 News, we're going to talk to Dr. Timothy Quinn about that Omicron variant. It's now been officially found in the United States for the first time. But let's send things over to John Conway and see if you can find any rain and or winter weather, John.
Definitely not this evening. A beautiful first evening of December. If you're going to be headed out tonight, just a light jacket. Skies going to be clear. It's going to be comfortable at 9 p.m. Going to be 56 degrees, pretty mild, and we're not going to be seeing any rain for a couple days. When will we see rain? Those details coming up after the break. You're watching 12 News.